Windmill Crusaders presents Raptor Hill Games, a podcast about prehistoria in board games.
Anyhow, anywho. Unmatched. I am Tyler Lukow, a paleontology student at Brigham Young University, working at the museum there, and a game designer with Windmill Crusaders.
I am Thomas Lukow. I am a dinosaur enthusiast and also a game designer.
With Windmill Crusaders.
Yeah. Let's talk about Unmatched. So, specifically, Unmatched Jurassic Park, the two sets here that we have out. Supposedly, there's another one coming that'll have Alan Grant and the kids, but I haven't checked up on that in a while. I don't know what's going on with that.
It's not out yet, I can say that. I've been checking my list, double-checking that for expansions and stuff like that. My list of 586 different dinosaur games, that does not include expansions, does not have a third Unmatched one yet. Yeah. So what is Unmatched?
Well, Unmatched is a game where you just kind of mash up different fighters from different franchises and stuff, and they fight each other. Basically, you have this board with different zones on it, like these circles, and each circle has a color with an accompanying pattern, a nice color blindness feature there. Some circles belong to multiple zones, so like on the board where the
this is the board for the T-Rex versus Dr. Sattler expansion.
Mm-hmm. You have this blue and yellow square. That means that counts as part of both zones. Your characters will be moving around from one zone or from circle to circle, and will be either attacking the characters directly next to them if they're a melee-focused character, or characters in the same zone as them if they're ranged-focused characters. Each player has a deck of cards, and those represent the different attack actions and stuff that you can do. Without getting too in detail about it, on your turn you take two actions, which you can split between maneuvering, where you draw a card and move your fighters, with draw a card being mandatory, so that eventually the game will be over simply by virtue of someone exhausting their deck and then taking damage due to exhaustion. You can scheme, playing a card with a lightning symbol on it, or you can attack, playing a card with the attack starburst or with the double symbol there that means it could be used for either attack or defense. As for attack, it works by just kind of doing a war-like mechanic where you pick a card from your hand, put it face down, and you see whose number is higher, and if you manage to get a higher number than the defender, you get to do whatever the difference is in damage. I think that's pretty much it, aside from the very specifics of how each character works. But typically, you'll have a hero and maybe a sidekick or a few sidekicks. But then sometimes you have some really special cases like what we've got going on here. Now, right out the gate, I want to show you something. And this is going to have to be a bit of an editing trick because we're not recording this at the same time we do the gameplay. This is the character for Ellie Sattler. She's
got her nice little mini with a pink face.
Here's Muldoon, and here's one of the raptors, or all three of the raptors, I guess. And here's the T-Rex!
Massive
Look at her in her majesty.
Massive piece, well-designed mini, takes up two of these little circle spaces. So, if we're going to do this, let's talk about the miniatures.
Yeah. Okay. So, and that's a good place to start, because this is the closest, that and the art.
There is not as much art on this game as others. It is nice. It is a good, stylized art based on the characters and stuff from the movies.
A lot of
the
art
miniatures
is on the cards.
This is true, and it has a nice sort of what's that style? Where it's just the one color, but they use the dark shades and stuff, so it's all green on this card, but you can still clearly see it's the Raptors.
Yeah, I'm blanking on that too.
It's got some good art. It's dynamic, shows action very well.
Yes, indeed. And not only that, I mean, you get a lot of good stuff from the movies, and also some stuff not from the movies, just interpretations of aspects of the characters. Like, if we're looking at Ellie Sattler's "You Never Had Control, That's the Illusion."
You have control again.
You never had control, that's the illusion.
There's this lovely, like, double helix shape going around her head that really makes me think about those older, put the circle behind the head for sainthood. Only this feels very Jurassic Park science fiction-y, and I don't know what it signifies or means, but I love it. As well as just, like, lots of lovely things. You've got Ian Malcolm with the flare, the concept of attraction with two dinosaur tails forming a heart shape is not even slightly valid, but there you are. In terms of... So we've established it's pretty good, very stylized, which is always nice, and just has a lot of fun, nerdy details. What do you think about accuracy?
Well, I do want to mention one more thing. It has a good color scheme to help represent this deck from this deck from this deck.
Oh yeah, that's something Unmatched
does really well with its
good.
colors. Which I don't know about accessibility. Yeah, it's not as accessible because there's symbols enough to tell which one is which. The green Raptor deck has a different symbol from
and
the
they've made at
deck.
least an overture toward that with the textures on the different zones.
So accessibility wise, as far as color blindness goes, it seems to be fairly accessible. Good symbol usage. It does require some reading, so for those who struggle with reading, it does have some more difficulty there.
And as far as some of the zone patterns could use a little more contrast, but it's not every game is perfect.
As for accuracy, we look at the miniatures. It's Jurassic Park. There's not really anything I can say that hasn't been said about Jurassic Park. Everything that paleontologists have said about Jurassic Park accuracy applies here. If you've heard it, you've heard it. The raptors should be feathered. They should be smaller. Should be Velociraptor. They should be less shrink wrapped. The T-Rex has a head that's a little bit too big, but overall actually pretty good, at least for its time.
There have been a few advances. Just a few.
Broken wrists that should be more to the side rather than down.
Certainly.
Yeah, that's about it. It's Jurassic Park. It's what you expect from Jurassic Park. The miniatures do look good. They look like Jurassic Park dinosaurs, especially the T-Rex. It's this epic chonker.
Yeah, it pretty much immediately takes up your attention on the board.
Sounds terrible when I say chonker. Don't let me say that again, Thomas. Muldoon and Sattler.
I couldn't help myself but make the T-Rex eat the guy. That's how much I love this.
It's the raptors that eat Muldoon, not the T-Rex.
No.
Sattler survived.
Sorry, we took a detour into playing with the minis.
He can eat him. And he can get stuff covered by leaves. Anyway,
sorry, back to what we were doing.
The minis do look good, and they seem to be pre-primed, so while we haven't painted ours yet, they should be easy enough to get painting right out of the box, pre-primed.
But they also just look good, because they've given it a
look
wash
good on their own.
To accentuate the details.
Yeah, good minis. They are, at least the smaller minis, are a little bit delicate, some thinner legs, so you do want to be careful with it, but we haven't had any break. So it's good so far.
And one detail I want to mention about the T-Rex is that if you leave it in a hot car,
it may warp. So be careful with it.
Not even the warping. That's not the problem. The problem is the legs will bend a little bit the wrong way and make your T-Rex start to flop over. Not warp. What ends up happening is that the legs bend a little bit and the T-Rex starts falling over.
So don't leave it in extreme heat or your T-Rex may become unstable. As unstable as it is unmatched.
The other thing is that you have to make sure that the table is level, or else this thing will fall over anyways.
And they are folded boards, which means that it does have some instability in the way that the board is built.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's that. More importantly, you can bend them back if you have left it in a hot car by just heating it up again, either by leaving it in a hot car again or whatever, and bending the legs back manually. I wouldn't suggest it. I would suggest keeping it at a proper temperature the whole time you have it.
Yes.
But, mistakes have been made.
While we're on the topic of components, these little health discs, they're common enough in miniature games. They seem to be of a good quality. And I just want to mention some stuff about the size. Muldoon's is slightly larger than Sassler's. Malcolm, since he doesn't have a full mini, is smaller than Sassler's. The Raptors are about the same size as Malcolm's because there are 3 Raptors, so they're a decent amount smaller. And then once again, the presence of the T-Rex when you lay down this huge disc. Bigger than any of the others. The biggest mini in Unmatched, as far as I'm aware.
It has a chonky 27 health.
In comparison, the Raptors have 7.
And that's closer to what you'd expect.
The
Sattler has 13.
Muldoon has 14.
But, there are some trade-offs with this. So let's talk design. So the design of the T-Rex, I love it. This is a big girl. She takes up 2 spaces on the board, which makes her easier to attack. But she can also reach 2 spaces away, even though she's a melee character.
Really feels good to play as the T-Rex, and the Raptors are great playing as this coordinated pack.
Okay, so she also hits like a truck, and is just, oh man, I love her.
Playing as the T-Rex, you really want to play and win in the beginning of the game, though.
Yeah, so the
T-Rex really works to stomp in, chomp down, and stomp out. The longer she's there, the less effective she gets.
Yeah, so the trade-off with the T-Rex, and I don't think this is necessarily prehistoric, like paleontologically accurate, but the trade-off with the T-Rex is that she runs out of steam rather quickly, right? You've got to be super aggressive, which is a valid play style, but, and I think there's a little more nuance to it than that, because, you can bide your time. Another thing, though, is that a lot of the cards that you play will damage your own health bar, thus justifying the massive 27 health.
Yes.
So either due to exhaustion or due to just accidentally damaging yourself too much, you can end up being taken out of the game faster than you otherwise would.
Which is why you want to really go fast.
It's a bit of the opposite of the Mighty Glacier trope, which I'm also a fan of. But as opposed to the Mighty Glacier, this is the Mighty Freight Train. There and then gone again.
Yes. Whereas Muldoon and Sassler, as characters, both want to plan and set up traps and take their time.
Yeah, with the specifically, it's not a trap as much with.
It is
Sattler.
with Muldoon.
Sure, the position of them in relation to the enemy can matter for some cards, but they're basically representing, we've gathered some intelligence and knowledge. Let's use that to our advantage, and then, cards will reference how many there are on the board or in your zone. Stuff like that. Whereas Muldoons are more specifically traps that your opponents can trigger by stepping on them. To help rout them or force them to take damage if they really do still want to go the way the trap is.
Whereas the Raptors, you're playing as 3 full miniatures, each with their own full health, rather than some of them have side helpers like the InGen workers for Muldoon,
which only have 1 health each.
And the piece for Ian Malcolm, who has a little more health. But the Raptors, you're playing with 3 full pieces who are actively working to hunt and chase your opponent into a trap of their own.
Oh, yeah.
See one of them coming, and that's when the other 2 come. Not from the front, but from the sides.
Yep. They're at their best when all 3 of them are out, but it's not like they're completely out once you take one.
Yes.
But they are also fairly aggressive.
By the time you're down to 1 Raptor, your opponent has to either be really low or you're lost.
Which can very easily be the case if you've played right.
This is true. It is possible to win with 1 Raptor left, but it gets a lot harder
So
You want
overall, I feel like they did a good job designing these. They feel right. The Raptors do feel like mini Rexes a little bit, but they also have their own things that make them like they'll just teleport around the map.
Yes, that's the thing with the Raptors is it actually does represent well this I'm hiding, sneaking, you can't find me until it's too late. You want the Raptors to be next to each other, and you want them to come out of nowhere.
Yeah. Sorry. Continue.
One of the things I want to say is that Unmatched is of a style of game, same as the Funko Pop game, and we'll have an episode on their Jurassic Park game as well.
Yes.
But Unmatched is one of the ones that does this crossover collaboration battle between various characters really well. I think the Funko Pop game doesn't do it as well. We'll get into that when we do an episode on it. But Unmatched does this character versus character really well, including with its other expansions. We've got Sun Wukong, historical figures, mythical figures, etc. One of the weaknesses of the game, however, is that it's not always balanced. When you take some of the others, you can play them as is Raptors versus Muldoon. You could also do Raptors versus Rex if you wanted, or Raptors versus Saddler. You could do Raptors versus Sun Wukong. But when you start getting more and more expansions, you find that there's an imbalance in the power and ability of some of these characters.
It's not so bad as that, but it is present. Like, I believe Sun Wukong is considered to be a bit of an S-tier character, or the equivalent thereof in this game. And I can see why. He's very tricky. He's got all kinds of tricks you can play on your opponent, whereas a lot of the others are more straightforward with sometimes a feint to trick your enemy. But
like, personally, trying to win against Sun Wukong with the T-Rex, for example,
but I
don't imagine that happening.
There's also just the fact that in any such game, obviously some of the matchups are going to favor one character over the other. That's the nature of of asymmetrical play.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You can also switch the maps out, of course, and these two maps have much smaller areas meant for just two-character play. If you get other expansions of Unmatched, you will find much larger maps capable of holding up to 4 players.
And I want to mention something about these two maps specifically. This map, the
T-Rex versus Sattler map, the T-Rex paddock.
Yeah, the T-Rex paddock is a very simple map. It doesn't have any terrain gimmicks other than there's this big old space here that you can use to create a choke point. And you know what? I think that's a good introductory map because it doesn't have any gimmicks. It's just, the normal game, and I think that's a strength. It's also a weakness in terms of, later, more interesting play stuff, but,
The Raptor paddock map has a little more gimmick in that it has, for example, one space that is 2 spaces that are 3 different terrains, along with some spaces that you can only travel across one direction and have to take other routes to get out of the paddock.
Yeah. So
there is only one way out of the paddock, but there is 7 ways in.
Oh yeah, and that
makes
very
interesting traps.
And considering that these are two characters that care a lot about that kind of junk, I think it's very appropriate.
It suits them very well. So, how do you, my brother?
Oh wait, no, not yet.
No,
I have to talk about a particular flavor of thing that I think is really cool. The T-Rex actually lifts one of its cards directly from, of all things, Bloody Mary's deck. So let me find it. Okay, Closer Than She Appears. With the mirror scene.
Yes.
But this is from another deck. Bloody Mary, of all things, shares this one. And it's got move a T-Rex up to one space, draw a card, gain an action. Holy heck! I love it. I had to mention it. It's too fun. It's too fun not to.
So, brother, my brother, how do you rate Unmatched?
I rate it at a solid 4. I think it's just a really solid game. And as long as your group doesn't specifically dislike it, it should be welcome at most meets. That's it.
I will also be giving it a solid 4. I consider giving it a little higher, but solid 4 is really good, and it's not shocking of like, this is the best thing ever, but it is still a really good, really solid game, fun to play, quick enough to play, easy enough to learn,
and
accessible.
Also there's real depth to strategy.
Good variability as you get more expansions, lots of replayability here. So, solid 4, unmatched among games of its ilk.
Yep, alright. What?
I was trying to do the Brando sound.
I'm not doing that.
For more information on the Raptor Hills podcast or Windmill Crusaders, please see our website in the description or show notes below. Thank you for listening.